now that, the whole pandemic thing is letting up a bit, at least in people's minds, traffic has increased like crazy along this expressway. So now, instead of that 2.5 hours, it's going to take you 4.5 hours, maybe even 5 hours to get all the way from your Midtown Manhattan penthouse to your Hamptons $8 million beach house. Mm-hmm. So, that's a real problem. What are you going to do? Pee in some kind of Mountain Dew zero sugar Baja Blast canister?
We want that sponsorship so bad,
use
folks.
A can.
We want it so bad.
You got to use a bottle. Come on.
You have to use a bottle. It's the old PI trick because you can screw the top back on.
Exactly.
Get lemon Gatorade. No one will know.
History is riddled with unexplained events. You can turn back now or learn the stuff they don't want you to know.
Welcome back. Now, everyone, the following segment will be dripping with sarcasm. I am sorry for that. I do apologize in advance. This segment is for everybody, because we can all learn something from this. This is a life hack that we can all, I think, use in our lives at some point. At some point in our lives, this will be relevant. Okay, so guys, let's just imagine we're living in Midtown Manhattan, as we have for just forever, and it's finally summertime, and we get to head on out to our vacation spot in Long Beach. It's on Long Beach.
Oh,
in the Hamptons.
Got it.
It is in the Hamptons.
I like Long. It's in the okay.
Hamptons are on Long Beach.
Skills.
Yeah,
they're on Long Island. I didn't know.
All right,
that.
So there we are. It's vacation.
Yeah.
It's vacation time. Oh man. All right.
Pop in the bubbly.
Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. You're somewhere between 50 and 70, roughly. Let's say we're in our early 60s.
Years old. Okay, got it. Sorry.
Yeah, years old. And we got to drive from Midtown Manhattan all the way to the Hamptons. Now, you may
all
think
the way. That's going to be my character for this.
That's a schlep right there. That's what they call a schlep in New York. Yeah.
It really is a schlep, because you're in Manhattan, which is that little island, and then Long Island is this big island that comes out kind of right below it, and you got to head east. And here's the thing. You don't even think about it when you're, deciding you got to go out to your place in the Hamptons. It only costs like $8 million. It's relatively cheap, actually, for the houses out there in the Hamptons.
It was a good investment.
And we only go there a couple of times a year during the summer, or when it gets just too cold, whatever. Usually it'll take our driver, whoever's running the rolls, about 2.5 hours to get from Manhattan out there to the Hamptons. Here's the thing, guys, our bladders, now that we're in our 60s, they're not what they used to be.
Wait, you don't have a chemical toilet in the back of your rolls, Matt?
No chemical toilets back there.
It's more of a Maybach thing. That's for the young kids.
It's fair.
Mm-hmm. There's just a slot. Anyway, okay, so
that's what you use those Mountain Dew bottles for. The worms are going to eat later. Yeah.
2.5 hours. You're in the rolls. Like many people later in life, in what we call the new middle age, you sometimes you get more conscious of where a bathroom is, huh?
Your golden years. Do. They call them your golden years because you're always pissing yourself.
That's right.
You can
that's right.
That you can take that
no, that's perfect. It's perfect.
Leave it in.
But it's a real concern. It's a real concern, and I'm not trying to be ageist here. It's a real concern. As people get older, bladder control becomes an issue. For men and women, it's just a problem. For men, it's usually a prostate, and a large prostate gland that, it just messes with your bladder, and it makes you have to use the bathroom more. Similar problems can happen with women, where it's just incontinence. It's harder to control when you pee and how often you pee, right? That's the serious part. That's really the only serious part. Well, there might be one or two more.
Get your prostate checked.
Yeah, for real. Seriously, get your prostate checked. Get your downstairs bits checked. Just do it. No matter what you got.
I went to a doctor's appointment like a year or so ago, and I asked for them to check my prostate, and they looked at me funny. They said I was too young. Which I feel like it's its own kind of ageism. I'd be like, well, if I want you to check my prostate, shouldn't you just check my prostate? Yeah, I don't know.
And
Right?
sorry we keep interrupting, Matt, but it's,
No, it's okay.
It's a age-related risk thing. It's a calculus.
Yes, that's
so
right.
If you're like most people, then you would, if you have an average risk and you're a dude, then age 50 is when you're supposed to start getting them. But if you have a high risk of it, maybe in your family or something, age 45. I dropped out of my fake New York voice to underline the fact that it is important. But now we're back on the road.
All right, we're back on the roads. So it could take
about
2.5 hours. It's you got to get on this thing. It's crazy. It's called the Long Island Expressway. A lot of people call it the Big Lie, L-I-E. It's kind of terrible, guys. There really aren't many places to go to the bathroom there. And now that, the whole pandemic thing is letting up a bit, at least in people's minds, traffic has increased like crazy along this expressway. So now, instead of that 2.5 hours, it's going to take you 4.5 hours, maybe even 5 hours to get all the way from your Midtown Manhattan penthouse to your Hamptons $8 million beach house. So, that's a real problem. What are you going to do? Pee in some kind of Mountain Dew zero sugar Baja Blast canister?
We want that sponsorship so bad,
use a
folks.
can.
We want it
That's
so
barbaric.
bad.
You got to use a bottle. Come on.
You have to use a bottle. It's the old PI trick because you can screw the top back on.
Exactly.
Get lemon
no.
Gatorade. No one will know.
But no, that's not the answer. That's not the answer. The answer is to get surgery on your prostate or to inject your bladder with Botox. Botulism.
No.
This is something
Yes.
I hadn't heard about until you brought it up, Matt. And at first, I'm going to be honest with you, man. You're one of my favorite people. I trust you to the end. But I thought, is Matt pranking me here? Is this like a...
I'm pranking
this-
me.
You're
I'm
pranking,
pranking everyone.
I
you're
will
pranking
say,
our butts.
Do what you will. People do all kinds of things to feel good about themselves. And Botox freaks me out just because I don't like needles and the idea of shooting, toxins into your face. But this sounds like at least kind of a functional, practical use for the stuff.
In a way, it is. It really does reduce the need to urinate so often if you have Botox injected into your bladder. The process doesn't look that fun, but it can be done. It can be done pretty easily. I was looking at the Mayo Clinic website. They've got how it's done, what it does, how long it lasts. If you do get one injection into your bladder, it lasts about 6 months, and you will have less of an urge to urinate as often, if that makes sense.
And that's perfect for vacation season.
Perfect. for the summertime, as spring's rolling around.
I pack, I get my PAE, my prostatic artery embolization.
That's the other thing. That's
the other
one.
thing. That's not the Botox. That's a different one.
I was reading on the John Hopkins Medicine. They've got a
Is
website.
this maybe a trigger
hopkinsmedicine.org.
warning for people that have body horror issues here? Is this
No.
Okay, all right.
It's not that. It's not that insane.
All right, go on.
All you have to do is go to your doctor, and especially if you're of that age that we mentioned, you ask your doctor to check out the old prostate, and they generally do that in the way we all know about, with a digit, and they do some testing of your urine, just see what's going on down there, and then they can reduce the size of your prostate. It's really interesting. There are these, how do they describe it? It says tiny round microspheres are injected through the catheter that's, going into you, into the blood vessels that feed your prostate, and it just reduces the blood supply to that thing, and it shrinks it down. And then your bladder doesn't have the pressure on it that it once did. Now you're good to go for that 4.5 hour trip to your $8 million mansion.
Okay, written with a little bit of disregard for the author clearly thinks this is a rich person's problem, unless you're editorializing. Yeah. But Matt, with that, this is something I don't think we mentioned on air yet. This condition that people are treating with PAE and bladder Botox, it has a name, right?
Oh, yes. Well, it's at least being coined Hamptons bladder, as in driving to the Hamptons issues because of that Long Island Expressway. I only know about this because of the reporting, or the writing at least, from Dory Lewak, Lewak, from Insider. She wrote an article titled, "Rich New Yorkers are getting bladder surgery and Botox to avoid bathroom breaks on the drive to the Hamptons." It is a very, if you think we're being sarcastic, read this article. Oh my goodness.
Tongue in cheek. Not going to say which cheek.
Yeah. Oh man.
Thanks, man.
And it's a joke. It just really doesn't apply to anything. This is not stuff they don't want you to know. The news has been atrocious over the past couple of weeks, and I just wanted something that's silly, that doesn't matter, but it could be helpful. Because we're all hopefully going to be in our 50s at some point. Everybody, you listening right now. And maybe you will need to get your prostate shrunk or your bladder Botoxed. And that's totally fine. And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just be aware that if you have to do the procedure with the prostate, it costs about $20,000 out of pocket.